Hello there, straight from Prague in the Czech Republic. We have with us one of the founders of Moja Emmy, Tim Young. Welcome to Warsaw, Tim.
Thank you for the invitation. It's really good to be here.
I have to admit that one of the first things that caught my attention was that your last name doesn't sound Czech. And from what I understand, you don't have Czech roots. Can I ask you how it happened that you have a medical practice in Prague?
Very good question. I'm actually British originally. I met my wife, who is from Slovakia, in fact 30 years ago. Seems like yesterday, but it's already 30 years, in the UK. And 2 years later, we moved to Prague, and I've never looked back. She was a medical student back then. She qualified, and for the first 10 years, she worked as an employee. And then back 15 years ago, she decided to set up her own practice, a little bit following the British model. So in Czech, there are often just one doctor, one nurse, but she decided to create a group practice, which is a little bit more like what's typical here in Poland. So since from 2010 until now, she has grown the practice. So now we have about 6,500 patients that we serve in Prague.
It seems like that the beautiful story of the love.
Absolutely right. Absolutely
okay, Tim.
right.
I wanted to ask you to tell us what Emmy is and why it was created.
Okay. So Emmy basically, maybe if I can use the analogy with banking. In the very, very distant past, people used to have to physically go to the bank to get everything done.
Yeah. Sure.
Then maybe we can remember telephone banking, which was back in the 1990s maybe, still was seen as an improvement. And now, of course, everybody does nearly everything online, mostly in the mobile phone. And Emmy is the same development for medical practices. So before COVID in Czechia, it was quite normal for patients to come and wait to see the doctor without appointments, just come and wait. Then people phone and make appointments, but with Emmy, we can organize everything through an application in the phone for patients and then a web application for doctors. So it's all about the logistics of care. If you as a patient need something from your doctor, you just use the app to organize it. If your doctor needs something from you, maybe to invite you for a vaccination, then they can do that also through the app. And we don't need to have all of this phoning in one or other direction. So that's what we do. Why do we do it? Like I said, we can see in other parts of society that things don't work like they used to. Everything is becoming online, digital. For me, it was a huge frustration in my wife's practice that there was no tool available to us as doctors to make the transition. I even once looked around the world, found an American solution which said, okay, not bad. Let's see if they would be interested to bring it to Central Europe. And they said, well, if you can find maybe 10 million, contract for 10 million patients, we'll come.
Okay.
So I realized that this was not going to work. And that's when I decided, let's do this ourselves. So I put together not only the experience from my wife's practice, but did some market research. We found a group of 6 GPs. And in fact, just as COVID was starting to get going, we worked together for 9 months to build Emmy, and we launched it in January 2021.
It sounds like the telemedicine of future. And please tell me, what impact do you see in the doctor practice, health service practices with Moja Emmy?
We now have about more than 1,000 healthcare professionals in Czech and Slovakia who use it. We have more than 500,000 patients who have accounts in Emmy. And for the practices which use it, we can see a reduction in phone calls of at least 50%. Some of them can go further, much further, maybe 80-90% reduction in phone calls. So it's a huge time saving. We think it's 1 to 1.5 hours per day per doctor. So it's a really substantial time saving for doctors. That's the main reason we did it, because my wife was exhausted, burning out. We needed to find a way to stop the telephone and to do things better. So that's what we see. We have a lot of very satisfied customers who can
and happy families.
And happy families, exactly, because there's it's a big danger always for doctors. It's a huge pressure seeing maybe many tens of patients in a day, and anything which can help to relieve that pressure, not only from doctors but also from nurses and on the reception staff, has to be a good thing.
Yeah, sure, I get it. I know you have only been in Poland for a short time, but have you noticed any differences between the healthcare system in Czech Republic and Poland? And could you tell us more about them?
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't definitely not call myself an expert on Polish healthcare, but there are some things which you can't miss. One of them is that there's much more privately funded care in Poland than in Czech. Here I think it's maybe a smaller half of care is probably provided in a private model, whereas in Czechia and Slovakia I think is the same, is a much larger share still on the public health insurance. But what I think we see is that the challenges for the larger half in Poland are very similar. It's the same issues, but I think we'll come to that. That's one difference, and the other difference is that the organization of care is in somewhat larger units. So the przechodnia in Poland that tend to be larger, especially for general practice, than in Czechia, where Czechia is a bit more like Germany, where there's many single practitioners, just one doctor, one nurse, which here in Poland is, you can find it, but it's quite a rarity, I would say.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what challenges and problems unite us?
Well,
Czech and Poland.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all of Europe really. We can see that populations are aging. Doctors are aging as well. So there is not a chance that we will have many more doctors in future than there are today. So we need to do more with less, and that I think is a key challenge for healthcare, for primary healthcare especially. I think we can also see that as new technologies emerge, so not just AI, but all of the point of care testing, which is becoming more and more sophisticated. More and more work is being given to primary care physicians, and that I think is right. It's the right way to do it, but it does mean that there is a lot more to organize. In Poland we have opieka koordynowana, if I said correctly.
Yeah, correctly, yeah.
In Czech we have dispensární péče, which is the same thing, and that is quite a lot of organizing that needs to be done, and Emmy is a great tool to help with that.
Okay, let's talk about a little more about Emmy. At what stage is your project in Poland now?
Okay, so we've only started very recently. We have two of our first testers. One is in a larger practice in the north, not far from the sea, with about 10,000 patients. And the other is a smaller practice, maybe 3,700 patients in central Poland in a village. So it's nice that we have two different situations to compare. But the first experience, the first feedback from the practices and from the numbers that we can see is that it works very similar to what we see in Czechia. So we send a mass text in the beginning, and patients respond very quickly and start to use the system from one day to the next.
Yeah, I get it. And I would like to ask about your personal plans. Please tell me, you are already in Poland. Will you able to explore Warsaw a little bit more, and maybe you have something planned in Warsaw during your staying here?
Well, I must say my colleague Anya took us to a bar with fantastic craft beer. It was for an English person. It was great to discover.
Who is living in Czech Republic?
Czech Republic, absolutely. It was great to discover Polish craft beer, which I really enjoyed.
Which one is better, Poland or Czech?
Ooh, now that's a difficult one. That's a difficult question. I don't think I'm going to answer that question. But tonight we're going to go to the Night of Museums, I think, is in Warsaw. Warsaw is a great city. I love it. And I'm also looking forward to having a dinner with the Polish team, because the food here, I had some misconceptions about Polish food, but actually you have some of the best food in Europe, I think, here in Warsaw.
I hope you will get a great time in Warsaw. Tim, as I said, there is two perspectives about business, MojaEmmy and family. So I think meeting with your team is the same. Yeah, there is a time for improve your business, trying to improve it, etc., etc. But as you said, there is also the space to go to the museum with your colleagues, and I think it's the main idea and main great idea of Moja Emmy to unite healthcare system and personal life of healthcare professionals, yeah?
That's right, exactly. What we aim to do is to make life better for healthcare professionals, exactly right.
Sounds very great and very perspective. Thank you, Tim, for our conversation.